2025, are you ready to rock? Dave's Killer Bread is ready to rock 2025 and your reset this January with killer taste, killer nutrition, and a killer sweepstakes to win a VIP concert prize pack with round-trip airfare, luxury hotel stay, and much more. Text RESET to 73876 and enter for a chance to win. Dave's Killer Bread. Bread amplified. No purchase necessary. Visit daveskillerbread.com/reset for details.
Blog Talk Radio.
The best late-night conservative talk show in America, Sackheads Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than Sackhead Sean and Sackhead Clint. And we're working on the immigration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work here, too. For those who are tuning in around the world to the best in late-night conservative talk, Sackheads Radio.
Sackheads. Sackheads.
Radio.
Sackheads. Sackheads.
Radio.
The best late-night conservative talk show in America. In America.
In America.
And in this web was a large, I'm pretty sure it was the biggest spider I've ever seen.
Hey, welcome to the April 9th edition of the Sackheads Radio Show here on Blog Talk Radio for a short amount of time. I'm your host, Sackhead Sean, sitting across from me, as always, is Sackhead Clint.
Am I really across from you? I'm more, because our tables are set up like a flying V. So it basically looks like a B-2 bomber.
I was thinking of flying V from the Mighty Ducks.
Either one, with each of us set up along the leading edge of the wing.
We're like barnstormers, if you will, on a B-27.
Right. or something.
How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing swell. How are you?
I'm doing outstanding.
Hi, Mary. See, I say hi to our people in our chat room.
I already said hi
to us.
I already said hi.
You don't. That was Sacco typing. Don't try and.
I see. It's going to be one of those nights.
Whoa, Sacco, put it down.
Come on, Sacco. We told you not to play with that in the studio, for God's sakes.
And the shotgun.
How are you, buddy?
I'm okay.
Yeah?
I'm doing well. I'm still hungover, I think.
And tell everyone why, because it was an unsanctioned Sackhead event, but the Sackheads went abroad again.
Yeah. So I went to the Academy of Country Music Awards in Las Vegas, Nevada, and it was outstanding. It was a lot of fun. Friday and Saturday there was a festival for the cause where a bunch of musicians played from the morning all the way until 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And it benefited some troops, and Segway was there. They gave away some Segways for some troops who were injured.
That's pretty awesome.
Line of duty. Yeah, it was great.
Good for them.
Excellent event. And then of course the ACMs on Sunday, and I haven't had that much alcohol in a long time. I am not a big drinker. I don't know that our listeners know that, but I drank a lot this weekend.
And it's always
and I was
funny.
still able to remember like most of it.
Well, it's funny because when you and I go out, like when we did San Francisco, and we did the convention, you have a beer, maybe beer and a half, and you're good.
Right.
You really. I, on the other hand, 14, 15 beers, I could go forever.
Right.
When it comes to drinking. So you and I, when we go somewhere, I always have a designated driver. It's the coolest thing on the face of the planet.
But not really, because, I'm buzzed after 2 beers.
Well, yeah, but you're not going to drink any more, and I know when it's early.
Yeah, right. But when I have a hotel that's right there.
Well, which was just ideal, wasn't it?
Or, free transportation. When other networks give me a limo.
Well, that's what needs to happen more often. That was so nice of them to do that. And I don't want to name that network only because, I don't want to throw
it doesn't exist. But if they did.
Mary said in the chat room, says she's on her second beer. I say amen to her for that.
Absolutely. What kind is it?
What kind of beer are you drinking? You know what? Maybe that's a poll we need to do, Sackheads.
What kind of beer do you drink? I'm going to answer. I like KCCO.
I know you like KCCO, and they make a good beer.
They make a very good beer, and I like it for a lot of reasons. But I want to support the chive. But I like the beer. It's good. It reminds me of a Newcastle, and I like Newcastle as well.
Yeah, I'm a darker kind of beer guy. I'll take a lot of hit for this right now. I like Guinness, and I like Sam Adams. Those are my two go-to beers, and I know there's some people, conservatives, will have issues with both of them right now because what happened in Boston with the St. Patrick's Day event and all that stuff. But, for me, I'm a capitalist. I go with what I like, so...
I do like Sapporo also.
I do like Sapporo.
Yep.
I also like Negro Modelo is another good beer that I enjoy, and it's a dark Mexican beer. And
now is the beer dark or are the brewers dark?
The beer is.
Because what you said, I need some clarification.
No, the beer is dark. I have no idea.
You said it was a dark Mexican beer, so I didn't know if like darker complected Mexicans drink it or if the beer was darker. I
wouldn't matter to me. I'd drink it with them anyways. I do like Killian's Red Mary, so but it's funny because if only there was a show like 30 minutes a week or something like that, where people could talk about fun stuff like that.
Just about beer, cars,
guns, shooting. I'm just saying, not a man show, quote unquote.
Let's launch one.
Okay, let's do that. But
I like your idea.
But where would
where you were going.
Where would we do that though? That's the
we
thing.
would, we would need a network
right.
that would support both a political talk show as well as
a couple of political talk shows, maybe,
or a few,
right?
Perhaps, and as well as whatever the hell else we wanted to do. We would need a network that would let us do whatever the hell we wanted. Basically, we would need a network that we could control, that we could take over the world with and spread the message of righteousness,
right,
and conservatism.
I think that's a great
and
idea.
Beer and guns and shooting. But unfortunately,
even things like barbecuing.
But unfortunately, networks are so pigeonholed.
Right.
So we would need to find one, and I don't know where we would find one.
I have an idea. I think if, say, we got together with a few friends of ours.
Okay. Like who? Just spitball. Like
I'm going to say Ken McClinton, the exceptional conservative.
Okay. Who and obviously
Mr. Cogsberg,
Rooster, of course, absolutely.
And maybe some other folks and players to be named later, if you will.
Taxes was waiting around for your taxes to be done, which led to worrying about not getting any money back. Now Taxes is matching with a TurboTax expert who can do your taxes in a day to get you up to $4,000 fast with a refund advance loan. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Expert filing only available with TurboTax Live Full Service. Refund advance has $0 loan fees and 0% APR. Refund advance loans may be issued by First Century Bank, N.A. or Web Bank. Terms apply, subject to approval. Now Taxes is 100% free when you file in the TurboTax app if you didn't file with us last year.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just do your own taxes in the app by 2/18.
What if I have lots of forms?
All good, all 100% free.
What if I had 3 jobs?
Still 100% free.
What if I once saw Bigfoot?
That has nothing to do with taxes, so still 100% free.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Now this is Taxes. See if you qualify in the TurboTax app. Excludes TurboTax Live, must start and file in app by 2/18.
Or if I won't, either one.
No, you will.
Or I might not.
You might have to make an announcement at some point.
How's that right now?
I think it's a brilliant idea right now.
I think what we're announcing is a brilliant idea.
I think so, too.
So the Sackheads are launching SHR Media, Sackhead Radio Media, and it will be our own network.
Yep.
And we will be starting out with the Sackheads Radio Show, as well as the Exceptional Conservative Show, and mentioned last but certainly not least, just because the amount of sheer work and everything else that this man has
blood,
put into
sweat,
it.
and tears.
Absolutely, and so he's getting a huge honor tonight, and we appreciate all he's done for us. But Rooster,
yeah, I'll tell you,
the Outcry Radio,
conservative Outcry. I cannot say enough about Rooster during this endeavor. He has just been on point. And and we've talked about this for a long time. We've kind of had an idea of how we wanted it to go.
And hang on, I got to translate. That would be idea.
Idea.
There is no R at the end of that. So for all the rest of my English-speaking folks out there who may not speak Bostonian, he had a thought.
But we've been planning it for a while. And we've been talking about different ideas, how we could work it. Even when I enunciate, I still say idea.
That's not an idea. Like that's not some kind of. That's not like a white-tailed deer.
No idea.
Or black-tailed deer. Ideas. He's actually talking about thoughts.
Thoughts,
not something
which I don't do often.
You don't have them, but you talk about them.
So we kind of. This is true. I'm not allowed to talk about most of them. So we sat around and we said, hey, you know what? There's got to be an outlet for us besides just the show where we can get with like-minded people and maybe not like-minded people, but intelligent people that want to have a conversation
about Heineken.
About Heineken.
Mary says like what comes out of Heineken. And I do say she was talking about Bush Blonde. I like. I'm not going to go there. You're dirty tonight. I don't know why you're laughing. You're having these thoughts like I'm saying something.
So we needed to have that outlet somewhere where we could have some writers, somewhere where we can have some network shows, someone that we can really bring it all together and kind of go forward and conquer it, so to speak, and get away from the traditional BS media that's out there.
Crap.
If you will.
Crap.
Right.
You can call it what
it's all agenda-driven. It's all, ad-driven, which, hey, listen, we have no problem with ad sponsorship. And we
Hang on. Patriot Ordnance Factory, official rifle, Sackheads Radio. Okay, go.
We believe in it heavily, but we also don't think we should have to curtail any sort of our show to meet the needs of the advertisers. We want that ability to say yay or nay. We didn't want a network that came down upon us and said, no, you're going to play this. And oh, by the way, can you go easy on topic X, Y, and Z because these guys kind of support it. We wanted to get away from that.
Right.
And we wanted to have the ability of people who are on with us get away from that. We don't want to have that dictation where, hey, you know what, if you're going to run the show, but you have to, play this ad or talk about this topic or stay away from that topic or whatever. That's not what liberty is about. That's not what freedom of speech, freedom of press is about. None of that.
And we're also not going to jam our advertisers up if they decide, like Chick-fil-A, to come out against something that they believe in from an institutional standpoint.
Right. Unless they go against the Constitution or something to that effect, where they're like, oh, by the way, now we think we should be totally communist. Yeah, you know what? I don't want your money.
Right.
However, if your personal belief of your CEO, like Mozilla Firefox, and turns around and says, I'm really not for gay marriage. Okay, that's his right. He has that right to. He's not saying that he's campaigning to hurt people as a result. He just doesn't agree with it. That's fine.
He's not saying we should execute everybody who is engaged in gay marriage or homosexuality. Well, he's saying he doesn't agree with that particular practice in his personal life. And so, we're not going to. We wanted to be able to control our own
destiny, but not control our friends who are on here as well, and give them that freedom. As we think, you read even some of the smaller, very public, very famous websites, but even some of the smaller ones,
like sackheadsradio.com.
Right, you can see some of the agenda that gets pushed, right, wrong, or indifferent. And
Indifferent.
We just got to get away from it. So, down to what can we do? We can launch our own network.
I think it literally took place like that quick because we were in the studio post show drinking beers, and you had said, hey, what do you think about doing a show about just whatever the hell we want, beer and blah blah blah.
And you said, well, put some pants on and we'll talk.
Right. I said, well, that's.
I like to be comfortable after the show.
You do. I'm not judging you. And I said it's an interesting idea, but we're on political networks, political talk. That's kind of what we do. What could we do? And we were spitballing those. Hey, why don't we form our own network?
Yeah.
And, kind of go from there. And I don't want to get too involved.
Right. And we're not stepping away from the Sackheads Radio Show at all. We love doing this. This is not changing. This is going to stay. If anything, it's going to grow.
It's going to be the headline show. I mean, it's kind of the marquee spot. I mean, it's kind of the.
Well,
it's kind of the.
Well, that's only because it was our idea. It has nothing to do with the content.
So I disagree. We have great content.
So anyhow, here we go. Go to everyone in our chat room and that's listening right now, all over the world, on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Blog Talk Radio.
Unless you're getting this on a replay, because then this won't work.
No, you still can.
Oh, you still can?
Absolutely can.
The chat won't work.
Yes, it will. Chat is going to be 24/7. Let's
not
get to
right
that
now.
But let's get to that point. Come on, help me out here.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go.
All right. I want everyone in the chat room and everyone who's listening to go to shrmedia.com.
Gulp Dog already put it up.
I know. It's almost like he was in on it. I don't know how that happened. That's weird. Anyhow, and you'll see the network page, and you'll see us, Outcry Radio, and Ken to start. And then there's a couple small little blogs. Rooster from Conservative Outcry is going to blog on this website as well. And you know,
is he now Rooster from Conservative Outcry and SHR Media?
Well, he's Rooster from Conservative Outcry,
right?
But SHR Media as well. So both ways. He goes both ways.
I know that, but I didn't know what the proper title for that is.
I think we can work on titles later. I don't think anyone really cares about titles.
No,
right
I'm just
now.
kind of interested. I was just like,
I know, but that's
spitballing here. I'm curious. Like, what do you call somebody like Rooster that goes like that? I don't know.
Now Taxes is 100% free when you file in the TurboTax app if you didn't file with us last year.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just do your own taxes in the app by 2/18.
What if I have lots of forms?
All good, all 100% free.
What if I had 3 jobs?
Still 100% free.
What if I once saw Bigfoot?
That has nothing to do with taxes, so still 100% free.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Now this is Taxes. See if you qualify in the TurboTax app. Excludes TurboTax Live, must start and file in app by 2/18.
Hardy Fiber Cement Siding is proven to withstand water, pests, and fire better than wood-based siding. And it looks better while doing it. Hardy Siding has been chosen for 10 million homes and counting. See the proof at jameshardy.com.
And if you're on SHR Media, you can go off to the right-hand side. Halfway down the page, you'll see live chat. Click here. And that's going to be our live chat section. And you can go in there, and that's where our chat will be, because eventually we're going to be off BTR, and that chat option on BTR is going to go away. And we'll give you times and dates and updates as we go along. But that's and we'd like to start using the chat section tonight on the website. But that's the goal, is to get completely off BTR.
Yes.
Finally.
And that was another part of our discussion.
Huge discussion. So if you're going to chat and you're going to listen, go to shrmedia.com and go into the chat room there. And everyone who knows Rooster, talks to him, tweets him, whatever.
Hugs him.
You need to really look at this website and give him all the credit on the website design and the build. He spent hours, and I mean hours, on this website. And he and Sacco worked together a lot about ideas, design, and updates and stuff like that. But Rooster really put in the man hours.
You and I stood over their shoulder and said, "What's that button?"
Exactly. Don't touch that. What about this? Don't touch that.
Don't touch that either. Is that a clicky thing? I want to play with the clicky thing. Finally, my favorite part was when Sacco handed us each a microphone and said, "Just go talk over there."
Right, and we sat outside. There was no wires attached to it at all.
And
we sat there and chatted away.
Remember that?
So that's where we're going to be chatting from now on. That's where we're going to be. Eventually, our show is going to come through here only. That's going to be the only place you're going to be able to really get it. There'll be a mobile app and all that stuff, but this is going to be the primary case. We're looking at first week of May to be done with Blog Talk Radio, and we hope that all you Blog Talkers who've been with us from the beginning on Blog Talk and have really been huge supporters, we hope that you'll come over with us and enjoy it. The chat will be there. The talk will be there. The phone calls will be there. All that stuff's not going to change. It's just going to get better, as a matter of fact, and it's going to get stronger.
Are you saying we're going to be better and stronger than Blog Talk Radio?
Yes. I will come right out and say that now.
No, I agree.
It's going to be a 24/7 network, live shows with some replays.
Yeah, it's basically going to be. We're going to nail it.
We're going to nail it. We're in talks with a couple writers right now to get some articles on regularly.
Well, we have 2 writers, I believe.
Right off the bat.
I
have a very close friend of mine who is a healthcare lawyer, been so for 20-plus years, who is a conservative and really digs into Obamacare and what it does to the people and how much it costs. That's his forte. That's what he does. He's going to give us regular Obamacare update articles from politics to fun stuff, everything. You name it. Rooster's going to be blogging there. We're going to have a blast. We're going to have a couple more shows coming up that we're hoping to add.
You and I are actually going to be blogging there sometimes.
We are going to be blogging there. Probably you more than me because I don't like big words. And going from there.
No, you like big words, but you just like throw one big word up there and call it a blog. You won't incorporate it into any sentences or paragraphs or structure. You'll be like Kerblakistan. I was like, Sean, that's not a blog. That's just like something you made up. You say it's a big word. Look, let's count the letters. 1, 2,
3, 5, 9, go. I'm pretty much like Animal from the Muppets. You know, I do one thing and one thing only,
right?
And that's about it. So that's our big announcement. That's our big news, and we're going to update you as time goes on and get more done.
Cog, wow, this doesn't suck.
Well, and somebody said, I think Rooster said that we'll eventually be able to do webcams through the chat, so if you wanted to do that. We'll do chat events, like if news is going to happen or something like that, we'll be able to do that. We'll be able to do live news feeds, all this stuff. It's really going to blow up. It's really going to be a lot better.
Hang on, I got a question.
Yes.
Cog just said nice, it has a pop-out. Now, I don't know what a pop-out is.
It's an Audi.
Okay, I had a pop-out when I was in grade school.
No. This is totally different than that.
Oh, it is?
Yes, totally different than that.
We don't have emoticons. Mary needs emoticons. This is something that we need to fix right now. I have no idea how to add them. And that's part of my frustration, Mary. This is passion speaking because I love your emoticons. I love it when you blow us kisses. And there's nothing I can do about it because I am a technological, drooling...
Dude.
What?
Look.
What?
You see that little smiley
How'd
face?
you do that?
That's an emoticon.
Okay, good. Is there like cool stuff that she can use?
Yes.
Like blowing kisses and stuff?
Yes.
Because if I don't get my kiss goodnight from Mary, I'm probably going to cry.
I know, me too. That's why we made sure it was in there. So all that stuff is there. And listen, if you have any questions, comments, and concerns about the website or things, suggestions, go to info@shrmedia.com will be the email. Our emails are all going to be on there. If you click on our specific show and you want to comment, or Rooster's blog and you want to comment, anything like that.
Make sure and read the legal page. We're not responsible for
anything
at
Pretty
all
much anything
whatsoever.
at all.
And don't like use criminal behavior or child porn or anything for this site. Other than that,
we're good to go.
We're good.
You can do whatever you want to do. And so we're going to be chatting from there. And you know, if you have suggestions, let us know. Listen, we do this. Part of the reason why we love doing this show is because of our fans. You know, we started off.
We like doing this show because we like hearing ourselves talk.
Well,
now we like doing it for the fans.
Right. That's why we started the show, is because we just like talking to each other and thought we should record it. But now we actually have fans, and we seem to like them. So we should. Well, at least we act like we do. I'm kidding.
No, we do. We like them.
I love our fans.
I like the fans that don't like us.
But man, I am just so. I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am about all this. I'm just thrilled about it. And it's going to be good. It's going to be a lot of fun. So that's our big news.
And you're pregnant.
Well,
which is it's weird. So there's a whole thing there. You had a procedure done, and we have a call right now because we don't really want to get into that right now.
Oh, we don't want to do calls right now?
No. I don't want to get into how you got pregnant.
Oh, no, I didn't want to get into that at all.
I apologize for that. Forget I said anything, folks. Fortunately, we live in an age where we can just go ahead and delete this. I'm sure it won't be.
Yeah, nobody will even notice.
Right.
So, on the phone with us right now
is Eric Holder.
Who's going to discuss contempt. Wait, is this Eric Holder, or did I take the wrong line?
Who is this?
Power.
Where's the music?
What?
I said power.
Oh, power.
Power. I'm high.
I can't. Can you
You're
talk?
high?
What?
Yeah.
Red, white, and blue. That's a joke, son. A flag waver.
Is that better now, Rooster? Do you feel better now that you had your music?
Zaxby's Sensation Salad is so much more than a plain old salad. It's a salad, which begs the question, at what point does a salad stop being a salad and become a salad? Is it when you add Zaxby's fried chicken to it? Crunchy wontons? Asian slaw? Citrus vinaigrette? Teriyaki glaze? Sweet and spicy sauce? Or is it when you top it all with a handmade perfectly fried egg roll? Without a doubt, the egg roll. The Sensation Salad, only at Zaxby's.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live Full Service, real-time updates only in iOS mobile apps. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees.
I do. Listen, I wanted to chime in real quick, as I do every week. But
absolutely,
the website costs us a buttload of money. So everybody that comes on our website, click on that ad. Just click it.
We are not above shameless advertising. No, will we ever.
And you know what else?
You know
what else pisses me off?
Just click the ad banner.
Just click it. Right now it says a cute girl is awaiting Mr. Right. Find out what cute girl is awaiting you.
Page. I think that's only on your page because a lot of times it puts the commercial up on based on what you look at. So
actually, the reason I called is I wanted to kind of talk to the site a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every show, as you know, and we actually plugged your show page tonight. Every show has its separate page, and that's going to be where you get the podcast or the archive material. So that'll be available too. You can get it right here on the site. We don't have a live feed going right now because Blog Talk Radio, the bastards, won't let us feed live. At least I can't find a way to do it.
Well, that's because they want everything to be on their toy. It has nothing to do with
exactly.
Right. So that's their way of doing it. But hey, Rooster.
Yes, sir.
Hold on. I need to help my good friend Clint out.
No, I know.
Okay.
I just didn't know if you guys know this existed.
Oh, I have no idea.
What exists?
Clint was having a hard time finding the webpage.
No. No. So I just did a Google search on SHR Media, and it took me to shrmedia.de.
Yeah, there's another one out there. I found it.
There's one more, but it's in Germany or something like that, so we're safe. So, hey, Rooster, I want to give you humongous accolades while you're on the phone. I know I've already said this before, but
hold on.
Thank you so much for all the hard... What?
I'm unzipping.
No, not that, please.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, I'll put it back in. It doesn't get out much anymore.
That's cute. It must be cold. That's a little thing.
Thank you so much for all the hard work that you did on the website. It looks fantastic. I know there's still more work to do, but for the amount of time that you put it together and the amount of time that you put into it, I really can't say thank you enough from the bottom of my heart. It looks amazing.
Yeah, I thought it came out really well, and we got the logo coming, so that'll look a little bit better once that's on there. And real quick before I leave you guys, I am not doing a show until May.
You're done with BTR completely?
Yeah, because today was my re-update, and I'm not re-upping. We're putting too much money into this, and they don't deserve my money.
No, I agree with you. They don't. And we're going to do our weekly show right up till May 1st, and then they're going to get a strongly worded letter from me. And by that, I mean, I'm going to use the word strong a lot in it.
I sent them a tweet. But you'll notice that our chat... No, not yet. Our chat looks much better than theirs. At least I think so.
I agree. I agree. And the initial from everyone in the chat room was that it was
it doesn't
better.
suck.
So it doesn't suck, I think somebody said, which is nice. So, again, you did a great job, and I couldn't appreciate it, and we're looking forward to moving on in this venture, and we appreciate you being on board with us.
Oh, I appreciate it. Enjoy the night, guys, and maybe at some point you'll get the live feed. I can't figure it out yet, though. And I can't figure out your iHeart feed either.
Well, if there's one thing we like to do is make things difficult on you.
Wow. We'll get to the bottom
I'll keep
of
doing that. Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you so much again.
Hey, thanks a lot,
Hey,
Richard.
why don't you pass me through the Sacco if you could?
I can't.
I want to
He's
talk to
not
the man
at the board
that's in
right
charge.
now. The actual man that does all the hard work. Yeah, he's out doing hard
Yes.
work. You know what? I'll have him call you when he's back in at the desk because he's not in right now.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much. Enjoy your night.
Thank you. Thanks, Rooster.
You too.
Goodbye.
That was the most tame and professional sounding, not radio professional, but
Okay, we made our big announcement. We're coming up against a break.
Business-wise, that Rooster's ever been. That was weird.
It wasn't weird. The man has pride in his work.
And he should. He did a great job.
He did an outstanding job for this. Listen,
we did kill a whole segment talking
about this, and we're egomaniacs. I get it. But tonight we're going to be talking about Lois Lerner, Eric Holder, and a couple different positions he had. One is his little temper tantrum he threw in Congress.
Oh, yeah.
As well as his brilliant idea for funding and DOJ research gun ID bracelets. Yeah, we have some interesting. We also want to talk about the disaster tonight, or the attempted rapid mass murder attack at the Pennsylvania school.
And there's also another one almost within hours, just over the border into Canada. Same type of thing. So we'll talk about that. And how about we do this? We're going to talk about how awesome we are. Now we'll just go to break. I think that's better.
Let's just go to break because I do want to get into the
topics.
Yeah,
we're going to get topics
IRS and Eric Holder when we come back.
Awesome. 347-205-9399 is the phone number here on the Sackheads Radio.
We'll get down to business tonight yet, folks,
on the SHR Media Network.
Sackheads Radio.
Sackheads. Radio. Sackheads.
Radio. Reactionary Speak radio program.
Introduce a little anarchy. Upset the established order, and everything becomes chaos. I'm an agent of chaos. Oh, and you know the thing about chaos? It's beer.
Friday night, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, here on BTR.
How you doing? John Grant here. When I'm not slaving over a hot microphone on the 405radio.com Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, I check out Sean and Clint here at Sackheads Radio. We all appreciate the best political bloggers, writers, and commentators. We either get them on our shows or we make fun of them, as it should be. So check us out live Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern or forever on the podcasts on the 405radio.com.
This is Tammy Jackson, inviting you to join me on the Tammy Jackson Show every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific on the 405radio.com. Put down that remote and tune into the show that covers politics, guns and the Second Amendment, religious liberties, sanctity of life, the military, and more. I host newsworthy guests and work hard to be a conservative radio show that's not like all the others. So save Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific for me, Tammy Jackson, on the 405media.com.
Hello, I'm Paul, a student at Hillsdale College. Here is my professor, Dr. Larry Arnn, on the separation of church and state.
America's founders believed in the separation of church and state, in that the country was not to have an official religion or an official sect. But that did not mean that government was to be hostile to religion, or even indifferent to religion, as many today argue. In fact, America's founding document, the Declaration of Independence, includes both a reference to God as the author of the laws of nature and a confident assertion that human beings are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. Far from being hostile or indifferent to religion, America's founders understood the theology of the Declaration to be an essential part of the education of citizens.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution,
Go to constitutionminute.org.
Hi, this is Rooster from Outcry Radio. Catch me here on Blog Talk Radio every Saturday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or follow my blog at conservativeoutcry.net. Now, back to the Sackheads.
347-205-9399 here on the Sackheads Radio Show.
Are we still chatting in our site?
Yeah, we're chatting in both. We're trying to.
I don't know how this works.
We're trying to bring people over to the room. It's we're trying to educate them. Bring them over. Come chat with us on our chat room.
Us.
And then while you're at the website, click on every single ad you see 20 times.
Wait, what?
What? So Eric Holder's been in the news all week.
So Eric Holder. Okay. So Tuesday, he was up at Congress. He was testifying at the House Judiciary Committee. And a Republican representative out of Texas, Louis Gohmert.
That's so great, because you just made a History of the World reference.
I did. Nice pickup on that. Started talking to him about documents from another investigation. And what he said. Do you have the audio from what the representative said? Just play the audio.
Okay, buddy.
What are you, Eric Holder now?
Promised to do is to provide you and your staff with.
Sir, I've read you what your department promised, and it is inadequate. And I realize that contempt is not a big deal to our Attorney General, but it is important that we have proper oversight. So.
You don't want to go there, okay?
I don't want to go there?
No.
About the contempt?
You should not assume that that is not a big deal to me. I think that it was inappropriate. I think it was unjust. But never think that that was not a big deal to me. Don't ever think that.
Well, I'm just looking for evidence, and normally we're known by our fruits, and there have been no indications that it was a big deal because your department has still not been forthcoming in producing the documents that were the subject of the contempt.
You don't want to go there with me, buddy, okay? I am the Attorney General. I wield a big pen, and you don't ever want to go there with me, buddy, because I will smack you hard.
And I'm posing this as a question, so before people start accusing me of being a racist, I'm posing this as a question. Do you think Eric Holder was trying to intimidate?
He was.
Hang on a second, let me finish. Do you think he was trying to intimidate the white congressman?
No.
Because he called him buddy.
Those are some pretty big fighting words.
Right? That's a big deal. You don't want to go there, buddy.
I think he wanted to intimidate the conservative, the Republican.
That's what I was talking about.
That's the problem. And if you look at some of the rhetoric that's coming out of the administration lately in Democrats, they're really starting to ratchet it up. I got one on Jay Carney, and I from another thing too, where he went at media hard and was just a complete jerk. Nancy Pelosi's made some insane statements I want to talk about later. This whole administration, I think, is on the offensive, and they're trying to almost create news.
Well, I want to think about this. So he called him buddy, right? You don't want to go there, buddy. Now, just follow my logic on this.
Oh boy,
let's look at synonyms for the word buddy. Comrade is a synonym for the word buddy.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't think about that one.
Are we on to something here?
I am.
Is Eric Holder a communist? Because in essence, he called the congressman comrade. In essence, right? Listen, show me where I'm wrong here, folks. I'm just reporting facts, okay? The Attorney General of the United States, a known Obama sympathizer, friend, appointee, okay, calls a United States congressman in the Judiciary Committee, calls him the synonym for comrade. Look, I can't make this stuff up.
Rooster in the chat says, buddy's also a short for girlfriend in some circles. Well, I think that's
never been
prison
to prison.
circles.
Yeah.
First and foremost, as much as Holder's the Attorney General, did you think that the representative's comments were out of line? No, not at all, right? I thought that was a fair statement.
I had to think about that.
Considering how you view contempt of Congress is not a big deal, because his whole action, the way he took that after it happened, and when he was held in contempt and chose not to investigate himself, doesn't really seem like he took that as a big deal.
Well, no, it would be a big deal if somebody were going to investigate him, but since it would be him, it's not a big deal, right?
Right. So that alone tells you how jacked up Eric Holder is. And I get it. Obama pulls his strings and tells him what to say and do, and that's all fine. But for him to call an elected official of the United States, who he answers to because they represent us and he answers to us in the end,
right,
buddy, in that tone, and it was a jerk tone, and he was trying to assimilate that, hey, I took that seriously. I thought about it 15, 20 minutes afterwards, and I was like, wow, if I was that congressman, I'd say, first of all, Mr. Attorney General, you don't sit there and call me buddy, okay, pal? Second of all, or we'll hold you in contempt again, and I know nobody will investigate that one either. Hey, listen, asshat. Yeah. Hey, jerk off. How about you freaking sit over there and answer the questions, which is your freaking job right now? Right, and that's the other thing, too, that I thought was amazing is he still really didn't answer the question after all that. Not. And I'm just like, how is it possible? You know what I would love to see? I would love to see a United States representative, and I know people would go, it's so unprofessional of him, but the Attorney General just called you buddy. If I was the representative, I'd say, hey, you call me buddy again, and I'm going to get up and kick your ass right here. And I'm in session right now, so I can say whatever the hell I want without getting in trouble. I'm going to kick your ass, Mr. Attorney General. So I suggest you be nice, because I'm affording you respect. Right. But if you're going to be disrespectful, I'm going to give you a good old-fashioned Texas ass kicking. And then we're going to call it good. I'll buy you a beer afterwards. Right. We're guys. That's what we do, although you're kind of a little bitch, so maybe you'd go cry. You may not. And, right. Yeah, you may not want to. You may, order a Cosmo. I don't know. But I'll drink an old-fashioned. And but I would love to see that. I think in this case. I agree. I think it's completely out of line. I think what he was trying to do is cause a controversy to avoid the question, and that's exactly what he did. Everyone's talking about this comment. We talked about the comment, and it just shows how desperate they are on the left right now with these midterms coming up, and Obamacare's a mess. They're all trying to create these sound bites. Yeah, I just think that Eric Holder is just an egotistical ass. I do. I think that he's just kind of an ass. I don't think he believes he should have to answer to Congress. Right. I think it annoys him that Congress asks him questions. It has the nerve. Yeah, has the nerve to question him, the Attorney General of the United States. Yeah. He can do what the hell he wants. He's such a controversial figure, and he has been for a while. Well, how does he still have a job? Well, I know because the answer he's protected, and that's the thing is he's protected, and with the Lois Lerner contempt decision coming up, and it's going to be sent over. Don't be showbiz in the show. Don't be showbizzing the rest of. Oh, I see what you're saying. I was linking it in. Oh, I thought we talked about that in pre-production. You told me to say that. But I told you to say it to set me up. I'm sorry. Mention showbiz. How else? Just called that out. How else in contempt coming up soon could this affect with Holder and his decision on it, and why he's still the Attorney General for little things like what? Tell me, Clint. Please tell me how else could he help the administration by still being the Attorney General? Say if some sort of controversy was about to hit his desk and charges would be filed or not based on a decision of an Attorney General who's a puppet. Could you please tell me? I don't see how that could go sideways. I just he has a job to do, right? He took an oath to uphold the law and to do it. So I don't see how say a Lerner contempt charge. Right. Let's just go out on a wing and let's just go out on a limb and just say what could he do? I mean, is he really going to fail to investigate that? Does he have a history of failing to investigate contempt charges that – oh. Well, There's also another. It's funny too because with Lerner say there was another email that came out that she was Obama's get that organized for action or whatever it is. That's his little arm or his wing or his reach.
Right.
That's a leftist group that does nothing but move for him.
I have to interrupt you. Can I interrupt you for a quick second?
Yeah.
Something in the chat room just caught my eye, and I've actually been doing a social experiment, and it just came to mind right now.
Okay.
I saw the word gay in the chat room.
Uh-huh.
Apparently somebody has a gay hamster. I'm not making this up.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the chat room.
Mm-hmm.
And gay means happy.
Right.
I've actually been using this term in public. So I had a barista at an unnamed coffee locale ask me how I am today, and I said I'm very.
I love how you throw out barista, but you won't say the name of where.
Right. Well, because I like Dunkin' Donuts, and so I'm not going to name their competition. So I said I'm very gay today. How are you? And the look I got was phenomenal. And so I had to educate them. I said, you understand that gay means happy. I'm very happy, and that's not. And so I've been saying it every chance I get to people who ask me how I am. I am tired of gay being like a cuss word.
Right.
It's a horrible. It means happy.
Well,
why do homosexuals? Why are they the only ones that get to be gay? Why are they the only ones that get to be happy?
No.
They're not gay. They're homosexual. Okay, who cares? I'm gay. I'm a gay person. You're gay. You're one of the gayest people I know. Rooster's not very gay.
No.
He's very homosexual sometimes, but he's not very gay. Socko is gay. Sackheads Radio is gay. We are the gayest conservative radio show I think that's out there.
Well, it's almost like
I'm tired of homosexuals having the market cornered, the monopoly on the word gay, and it being negative. Know your English language, folks. It's like I'm going to start calling cigarettes fags.
Well, no, I don't like that.
That's English.
I know, but I'm not really I don't
you
like.
You smoke fags sometimes? Do you not?
I've always thought that was the most bizarre term for a cigarette. I just always have. I've always had a problem with that.
But why do they get the are all homosexuals smokers?
No.
Why did they get the derogatory?
I don't think those two were actually connected originally.
Exactly.
Right. I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
I also get mad when everyone says leftist all the time. Because
right.
I'm left-handed. Technically,
you're a leftist.
I'm technically a leftist.
Technically, right? Does that mean that homeless people are collectivists because they collect like money and like change and like the Santa Claus is ringing the bell on the corner? Are they collectivists?
Yes. Can we get back to what we were talking about before you were talking about how the word gay has been hijacked?
It has been. Try it. Do me a favor, everybody who's out there who's listening. And just watch the reaction you get.
Oh, no.
I'm one of those people that likes to do social experiments. I know it's hard to figure, right? Next time somebody asks you, how are you feeling or how are you doing, just say, I'm very gay.
I'm super gay.
I'm gay.
I'm super. Thanks for asking. Golf Dogs in the chat room also thinks that we should take back the rainbow. So we have an agenda apparently.
This is so the rainbow.
Oh, no.
Look, first of all,
we were on holder.
No, we're going to put holder on holder for a second. So the rainbow, the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors,
right?
The college,
right?
Oh,
that's a college.
Well, the Hawaii University of Hawaii is, but they were the
I've seen that before. I thought it was something totally different.
Warriors. There is that too.
Okay.
So, why do homosexual people get to be happy, and why do they get a rainbow? Rainbows are beautiful.
And why do they get the Hawaiian football team?
Exactly. God put a rainbow out to show that he was not going to flood the earth again. What does that have to do with sweaty butthole and homosexual behavior? I have no idea. You've turned so many shades of red right now.
The last comment was the one that went too far, I thought. Everything else you said I was on board with until we got to the last comment. Look at what you've done to the chat room. Look at what you've done to the chat room.
Great. I love it.
Man.
This is good radio right here. And this is why we needed our own network. There's no way in hell
anyone else
would
let us go on
anywhere else.
So, if you could get off homosexuals for a minute.
That's dirty. And
no, I didn't mean it like that.
Okay.
Okay. We were talking about Eric Holder. I love all these different theories that are starting up in the chat room. Iggy's mom said Jesse Jackson runs the Rainbow Coalition. Does that mean he's homosexual? Why do unicorns? Why do they get unicorns? The Flintstone song, the Bodaphone. Oh, it's so going to take a beating for this. It's great.
They've hijacked all the cool, pretty, happy things in life. That's bullshit.
So on the SHR Media Network, you're going to...
You know what? We need a Gadsden flag that's rainbow.
A rainbow
because
Gadsden.
It's God's promise, like the rainbow is, but instead of flooding the earth, of liberty. What do you think about that?
We can work on it.
Okay.
We can certainly work on that for you. Oh, man. So...
Ken, I want this clip.
I know. I knew somebody's going to get this, and this is going to be played back so many times.
Hey, that's okay.
No, I know. Just you know as well as I do that this whole conversation is going to be cut up, and it's going to be selectively played.
I don't care. What are they going to say? Well, yeah, because we want the word gay. It's. Oh, listen. They should be happy. They should be gay. The homosexual movement should be gay, that I'm trying to turn that word back from a negative back into a positive thing.
Right.
Right? What's their beef?
Rooster's in the chat, and he says he's going to get this clip and send it over to the Village Voice. Oh, good. Well, that should...
Good. They should be happy we're trying to help them eliminate a hateful word, right?
Well, Your Honor, all we were trying to do was help. I'm just saying.
Yeah, all we were trying to do was
eliminate
hate.
Help.
We were doing our part.
You kill me.
We were eliminating hate. We're trying to take the word back and put it into a positive light instead of negative. Have you seen the ad campaigns? That shirt's totally gay. How would you feel if somebody said that?
I have a happy shirt on right now.
Right, that's what I mean. It has a negative connotation. We're just trying to bring it happy again.
You are outstanding. Somebody in the chat room did say that this show is pretty gay.
It is. We're a gay bunch.
Yeah. So I think that was. I think that's pretty articulate and right to the point. We are a gay bunch talking right now, so that's pretty. So we, at some point, were talking about
we'll have a gay
old time. We were talking about Eric Holder and his rant to Representative Louis Gorham in Texas. And then, you know what? We have 9 minutes left in the segment. All right, this segment's going to end up going on the other side of the break because I want to get into his whole $600 million idea to keep everyone safe.
No, that's a new segment, so we're good.
Okay, well, let's get back to contempt and Lois Lerner.
Lois Lerner is a different segment.
You asked how this guy still had a job, and we talked about Lois
I know how
Lerner
he has
and
a job
other aspects of it.
Yeah,
and he's also the person who decides things like civil liberties.
Right.
Whether or not, and I point you back to the Black Panther sitting outside the election halls in Pennsylvania, I believe it was.
From the group, not the animal, because that would be...
That would be awesome.
That
would be awesome. Other things, so any sort of case like that, IRS scandal, potentially Benghazi, if there's some sort of criminal activity that all that stuff has to go through the Attorney General's office if somebody is going to be charged on a federal level. He has the final say. He also selectively chooses to prosecute and actually I meant selectively enforce, major drug cases, mob issues. Mob issues like, say, let's just say that idiot Al Sharpton was a mob informant. Or say he got caught making a huge drug deal, and the Fed said, hey, I have an idea. Instead of us prosecuting you, and we'll get the approval from the Attorney General, we're going to turn you into a mob rat and rat out your friends in the mob. That would be something that would potentially go through Holder's desk. So this president right now, with all the issues on constitutionality that are being pressed, all the quote-unquote phony scandals that are coming up, everything that's really starting to come to a head right now, and I'll tell you, in the next year and a half, it's all going to come to a head, right, wrong, or indifferent.
Indifferent.
Stop with that.
I'm sorry. You throw out choices, I have to pick one.
You're going to see a lot of the scandals that have gone on in this administration come to a boiling point right before the midterms, because not only is the Obamacare issue going up, but you also have the all these different scandals, and Obama is going to do everything he can, which is why I believe that a lot of these, the Jay Carney, Eric Holder, Nancy Pelosi, providing these sound bites to be the distraction away from Obamacare and all that. So we're in full-blown politics, folks, and we will be through November.
So the letter that Congress sent to Eric Holder actually specifically lists the following, and I'm going to read it. You can find it online if you'd like, but it's very well documented. I think it's very important. Or I think it's going to be very interesting to see how Eric Holder, if he decides not to file contempt, to see how he justifies not doing so. So I'm going to read again. This is from the letter to Attorney General, the Honorable Eric H. Holder, Jr., Attorney General of the United States, from the U.S. House of Representatives Committee on Ways and Means. And what it says specifically is, during the course of its investigation, the committee has obtained information that reveals that former IRS Exempt Organizations Division Director Lois G. Lerner, who, while acting in her official capacity, may have violated one or more criminal statutes. Specifically, the committee's investigation has uncovered conduct by Lerner that includes the following, and then it documents 3 specific charges here on this part, where it says Lerner used her position to improperly influence agency action against only conservative organizations, denying these groups due process and equal protection rights under the law as guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution, and apparent violation of 18 U.S.C., that's Title 18 of the United States Code, Section 242. So 18 U.S.C. 242. And you can look that up yourself if you'd like to read it. Number 2, Lerner impeded official investigations by providing misleading statements in response to questions from the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration, in apparent violation of 18 U.S.C. 1001. And Lerner risked exposing and may actually have disclosed confidential taxpayer information in apparent violation of IRC, the Internal Revenue Code, IRC 6103, by using her personal email to conduct official business. These findings, supported by the evidence described below, suggest that Lerner may have violated multiple criminal statutes. The committee asks you pursue this evidence and ensure the victims of IRS abuse do not also suffer neglect from the criminal justice system. I liked how that's worded. And then their case is basically laid out in the following pages after that. So that's the case, the criminal case that the Ways and Means Committee is pursuing, that is sending to Eric Holder. Those are the 3 things that they're alleging that she's done, and the specific statutes that she has violated.
Well, hopefully, and again, everything I've seen, everything I've read about this is the case is so compelling that it would be an absolute travesty of justice and an obvious political ploy if Holder does not move forward with contempt charges. There's more than enough there to at least give it to a grand jury and let the grand jury decide. And at that point, he did his job.
Right.
If he puts it in the hands of the grand jury and the grand jury comes back and says, no, it is what it is. But if he refuses to go to the grand jury, that's obstruction of justice, in my opinion.
But
and
can
I
he
would
obstruct himself?
Yes. Well, no, because he's not. Justice is not Eric Holder.
But he thinks it is.
Right, but that is not the reality.
He's the head of the Department of what?
I understand what his title is, you jackhole.
He is head of the Department of Justice. Therefore, he is, in fact, Mr. Justice. His title is honorable.
I am the law.
I am the law.
Dread
holder.
Dread holder. In his opinion, yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Right. But his opinion doesn't matter.
But if he chooses not to, then I would like to see somebody try to pursue obstruction of justice charges against him on a federal level, citing not just this case.
Who's going to file him? Himself?
No, anyone. I think anyone who is a federal prosecutor could file
that
those
would be
charges.
funny. Well, file charges against their boss.
Because then think about how protected that person becomes. If they lose, their job is very short-lived, and I understand that. But they would if there's some young, strong federal prosecutor out there that says, hey, you know what?
Just takes it to a grand jury.
Yeah.
Just takes it to a grand jury.
Quietly, boom, gets it done. Grand jury's released, warrants issued. Something like that has to happen because the Department of Justice is so out of control about selective and non-selective and Eric Holder is the head of it all, that it needs to be pushed. This needs to, and I'll tell you right now, if I was you, if I was a listener, and all that, once they get the paperwork, which I think tomorrow you said, I believe the DOJ is going to get the contempt paperwork tomorrow. I think that's what Trey Gowdy said too. Email the DOJ and ask them where they're going with it and why it hasn't happened yet. Lois Lerner, in my opinion, is clearly in contempt of Congress.
And she's violated these criminal statutes, I believe.
Absolutely.
I don't know whether she has or not, but I believe she has. I think that, look, I believe in her right to due process. I believe that.
Right.
She's obviously innocent until proven guilty.
But the evidence is there.
Well, I believe the evidence is there to substantiate a filing, right? I believe the evidence is there to substantiate a criminal action or to send it to the grand jury or have the Justice Department look at it. We're coming up on tax day, and I had a discussion. I want to go into break with this little personal anecdote. So I was having a discussion with somebody about taxes. We were talking about taxes coming up and they're due. And I was looking at how much in taxes I paid. And I know it's more than like people on the street corner because I make just a little bit more than them. And
just slightly?
Just slightly. So, and I said, you know what? Why is it we have a progressive tax system? Why is it that based upon your income, you're taxed a different percentage? How is that fair? How is that equal protection under the law? How is that equal treatment under the law?
Right.
If I'm a United States citizen, why am I taxed at a different percentage than another United States citizen? And why are other United States citizens taxed at a higher percentage than me?
I have no.
And I'm wondering, and I don't know the research on this, but I want to find out. Have there been any cases brought by taxpayers, because obviously you have an injury, so the injury being a financial burden, so you have standing to bring this case forward, our tax system. How is our tax system not unconstitutional? I understand a constitutional amendment passed. It went the proper way. I may not agree with the right to the ability of the federal government to assess income tax, but it was passed. It is a constitutional amendment. Therefore, I honor that. Okay, because it was done the right way. It went through the process. So yes, they have a right to tax, and we all can be treated equally on that. But why is that amendment not applied equally? Why is that amendment applied, say, 33% to one group based upon socioeconomic status, and then maybe 25% to another group based upon socioeconomic status, or whatever it is? That amendment of the Constitution is not applied equally. And what gives the IRS code, or even Congress, the ability to make that different? And I mean, now that opens up kind of Pandora's box of, well, you can't exercise your Second Amendment rights if you're a convicted felon, so why does that not apply equally to that group and this group? But we're not talking about convicted felons here, people that have violated the liberties of others. We're talking about just for the sake of being an American citizen, you're treated differently. The 16th Amendment treats you is applied differently based upon your socioeconomic status. So my question is, and I'm curious if anybody in the chat room knows, has anybody researched this? Has there been a court case with such a claim? And obviously we know the findings of that court case because they're still applying that to us. It's just something I thought about. I wanted to throw it out to our listeners out there. We're up against a break right now. When we come back, we want to get into Eric Holder's cockamamie idea, how he wants to spend your tax dollars.
We'll be back in 3 here on the Sackheads Radio Show. I love the word cockamamie. It's the best word on the face of the planet. Cockamamie. Cockamamie. Cockamamie.
Hey, if you care about what's going on in the world, you cannot afford to miss my show. Hi, this is Andrea Kaye, your host of The Andrea Kaye Show. It's not always about the money. Okay, it is always about the money, but it's also about politics, pop culture, and you. The only thing street about this show is the smarts. There's a reason they call me Dynamite in a Dress, and you'll find out why when you listen Tuesday mornings at 10 on Financial News and Talk.
Hello, I'm Paul, a student at Hillsdale College. Here is my professor, Dr. Larry Arnn, on the separation of church and state.
America's founders believed in the separation of church and state, in that the country was not to have an official religion or an official sect. But that did not mean that government was to be hostile to religion, or even indifferent to religion, as many today argue. In fact, America's founding document, the Declaration of Independence, includes both a reference to God as the author of the laws of nature and a confident assertion that human beings are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. Far from being hostile or indifferent to religion, America's founders understood the theology of the Declaration to be an essential part of the education of citizens.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution, go to constitutionminute.org.
How you doing? John Grant here. When I'm not slaving over a hot microphone on the 405radio.com Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, I check out Sean and Clint here at Sackheads Radio. We all appreciate the best political bloggers, writers, and commentators. We either get them on our shows or we make fun of them, as it should be. So check us out live Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern or forever on the podcasts on the 405radio.com.
Hey folks, it's Sean from Sackheads Radio. As a native Bostonian, my heart broke on April 15, 2013, watching those horrendous attacks at the Boston Marathon. Now there's a way that you can help. Go to onefundboston.org, onefundboston.org, where you can donate to help the victims and families from this awful attack. Onefundboston.org, all the proceeds will go directly to the victim's family. Thank you very much from Sackheads Radio.
Now back to Clint and Sean on Sackheads Radio, radiating elegancy and quality.
So I do want to get into something that came out today real quick, since we just ended with Lois Lerner before we get into Holder's cockamamie harebrained idea. I just had to say cockamamie again. Did you see there was a report that came out today from the U.S. Office of Special Counsel?
I did not.
And there were accusations that workers at the Dallas IRS office might have violated the Hatch Act, which we've talked about before on this show, federal law which prohibits executive branch employees from participating in partisan political activity. And there were some apparently some employees at the Dallas IRS office that were wearing pro-Obama attire, screensavers, buttons, and actually talked to taxpayers about their pro-Obama, anti-Republican stances.
That's kind of weird, wouldn't you think?
You would think, but it's just yet another nail in, I don't want to say the coffin of the IRS, but just yet another black eye for the IRS. And talk about an agency that has so much responsibility and authority and can have such an adverse effect on people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not shocked. I'm disgusted.
Yeah, I was going to say I am disgusted with the whole thing, and that bothers me. And again, I understand people have their right to have their political beliefs.
Right, and I support their right to have those political beliefs.
Absolutely. But when you're in a position where you can silence people for their political beliefs using your government job to push your political beliefs, that is just completely off the mark, and that is sad and pathetic.
Well, according to the report, the employee here that gave the personal view about her being a Democrat, and the quote is, "Republicans already trying to cap my pension, and they're going to take women back 40 years." So that employee, according to the report, that employee admitted she violated the Hatch Act and is getting a 14-day suspension for her behavior, which probably means she's going to be allowed to burn 14 hours of vacation time and get paid out for it anyways. I don't know that. I'm just speculating.
Well, I think that's a good speculation, though. I really do. And it's sad. And it just shows you once again, I don't remember hearing this stuff happening years ago. And I don't know if it's the internet or if it's just the entitlement society moving forward even further.
Yeah.
But it seems like this is more and more prevalent in government. And it's something that there needs to be examples set and made to keep people from going forward.
Now, I have a question to ask you. Why do you hate women?
I don't hate women.
And here's why I ask that. Because I said taking women back 40 years. Andrea Kay, our beloved friend in the chat room,
here we go,
just said 40 years ago, men picked up the check. And immediately after that, you said entitlement. So why do you have this war on women to where you believe women are entitled?
Why do you do this to me every single time? Seriously, you just find a way to torpedo everything I say.
How did I not? I just linked all the evidence together here, Holder. I can't.
Listen, don't take that tone with me, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
Speaking of Eric, he had a brilliant idea. And listen, this is cheap. It's not a bad idea. It's going to be easy. It's something so simple. It really supports our Second Amendment rights.
And that's his job here, right? So he's the Department of Justice head and douchebag.
He's the head douchebag. He's the
head douchebag, and he has this idea, and he's asking Congress for $382.1 million in increased spending for the 2014 budget,
right?
For fiscal year 2014, for gun safety. So what he wants is a $2 million in that proposal is a $2 million grant for gun safety technology.
I can tell you already this sounds reasonable.
Well, yeah. Why shouldn't the Justice Department explore gun control efforts? And basically, here's what he said. He says, I think one of the things that we learned when we were trying to get past these common sense reforms last year, Vice President Biden and I had a meeting with a group of technology people, and we talked about how guns can be made more safe. He goes on, by making them either through fingerprint identification, the gun talks to a bracelet or something that you might wear, how guns can be used only by the person who is lawfully in possession of the weapon. Okay, so let's think this through. First of all, the Justice Department has no business in the marketplace or in the area of developing product technology for anything.
Right.
For anything. But now let's talk about the practical application of this. Let's talk about the husband and wife who are at home,
mm-hmm.
the Husband owns the firearm. The husband is out to work, away on business, incapacitated for some reason. There's an intruder in the home.
Battery in the bracelet goes down.
Trying to do violence. And the wife needs to get that firearm to defend her life, the life of the children, the house, whatever it is. And she's unable to use that firearm because it's printed or linked to her husband. So what's this going to do? This is inadvertently going to push more guns into the marketplace, because now instead of that household having one gun, perhaps, now he is going to need a gun, and she is going to need a gun. I'm actually talking myself into liking this, maybe.
Right, because now it's more guns.
Now it's more guns.
All you have to do is erase the whole bracelet thing,
right?
And this is a great idea.
More
guns.
More guns. So the other thing is, like you said, what if the battery in the bracelet goes down? How about conspiracy theorists? What else is going to be in that bracelet? Is there going to be a GPS tracker in that bracelet to track gun owners? Where are they now? Or to track the firearms? What happens if that firearm is separated from its user because maybe somebody loaned that firearm to a friend to go to the range or to a spouse to go to the range? I read something that this technology could take a half second or so to engage before that weapon is being able to fire.
Oh, good. You mean when seconds count?
A half second in a gunfight is a long time.
Half second in any fight's a long time.
It is. It is a long time. So you're talking about a half second. Now let's talk about our what if our military personnel have to go to this, or law enforcement, and where a half second can literally mean the difference between life and death. They are going to be put at an even larger disadvantage. Our cops are already at a huge disadvantage.
Our citizens are at a huge disadvantage.
They already. Yes, we talked about the citizens, but we're talking about the law enforcement now, because liberals think that cops should have guns for the most part. So let's talk to the liberals out there who may think this is a good idea. Okay, let's break the argument. Our conservative friends, they already know that I believe most of our conservative friends are pro Second Amendment and they get the gun debate. Liberals don't. So let's talk to them and bring it to their level. Mr. and Mrs. Liberal. So you call the cops because somebody is trying to bash your innocent head against the wall. And you want the cops to save your life. And that bad guy has an illegal gun because they are a bad guy.
Right, bad guys have illegal guns.
Bad guys have illegal stuff. It's illegal to try and kill you and bash your head against the wall. Therefore, they don't care about having an illegal gun. The cops get there to show up, and they see bad guy with illegal gun. And they are there to save your life. They have to react to what that bad guy does. Cops just can't drive up and kill somebody, right?
Right.
Last I checked, I read the Constitution. Cops can't do that. Violation of Fourth Amendment, right? Fourth Amendment seizure. So bad guy turns with the gun and starts firing at the cops. The cops now have to react, draw their weapon, which takes time, right? Let's say a second. I don't know, but I'm guessing. Let's say a second. And now that gun has to read that officer is who that person is and is able to have that weapon and engage. And now you're behind the curve even more. And in a second and a half, how many rounds can bad guy get off?
6, 7, 8. It depends on what weapon he has, to be honest.
A lot, right? Go to YouTube and just check videos. Hey, how many weapons can there's video out there of
it's
people
insane the amount.
Putting rounds down range quick. And so now, Mr. and Mrs. Liberal, because you had that idiotic idea and you implemented that stupid technology, you now have dead cops who are unable to stop said bad guy from committing violence upon you. Good job. So let's break it down. So there are so many reasons why this is a bad idea, and we just listed a couple. But now let's talk from a governmental standpoint, from a constitutional standpoint. Why is the Justice Department involved in technology and seeking technology for a product, for something that's manufactured, so a good, something that's purchased? That's not the Justice Department's role.
Not at all.
And if
not unless, it's not their role, but it makes sense if somebody's pockets are being lined.
Of course. And if they're talking about now, well, we can tie it into Homeland Security because we can track gun owners through the GPS in this bracelet. Maybe, right?
Well, yeah.
Well, terrorists sometimes use guns.
Exactly. And maybe if they have the one with the bracelet. Well, and here's the best part about it is if you can turn around and say they pass this ridiculous law and say Eric Holder gets it going and everyone needs a bracelet. Well, does that mean the government's going to pay to either upgrade my weapon?
No.
Buy me a new weapon to replace the one that's
no.
Or are we going to be grandfathered in?
Maybe.
And if
but
we
then
are
you can't
grandfathered
pass
in,
your weapon down to your kids, right?
Right. So it's not really grandfathered in.
Right.
Because you now start taking away my personal liberty of being able to pass down property that's mine when I pass or whatever onto my family. You're going to tax the hell out of it anyhow.
What about people that have guns and those guns have been in their families for 2, 3, 4 generations?
Oh, I have some. I have some that are. I'd have to turn them in. Amazingly, most of them at this point are antiques and are worth a lot of money. And I am not going to be able to get any sort of compensation for that. It's a gun grab. And listen,
if you price people out of the market,
they're out of the market.
They're out of the market.
What if an entry-level car, let's just pick any car you want, you use the Chevy Cobalt, whatever, $15,000. Government turns around and says, whoa, because of this new safety, the backup camera system. That's going to be mandatory next year in every car that gets produced. What if they turn around and say, you've got to have a backup system, but the one we choose, the backup system that we approve as being okay, is going to be an extra $15,000?
Yeah.
Hello, green energy people, you just won, because now most people can't afford a $30,000 car right off the bat. It's the same thing over. And look at what they've done to oil.
You know what they're going to do?
What?
Barstool racers.
Oh, I can't wait to get one. I want the cooler one, though. I want one that's a cooler.
There's just gross, polluting, nasty. So the environmentalists didn't win.
No. But you look at what they've done to the oil industry and how they've taxed them into oblivion, and they've added taxes for both the oil companies themselves as well as the consumer. I mean, when you go to the pump right now, you're paying, I think it's almost, depending on what state you're in, upwards of 80 cents per gallon in taxes on oil that's already been taxed ridiculously by the government when it was produced. Mm-hmm. And this is what they do right now. Why? Because ever since, and you can look, I think it was $1 something was gas when Obama took office, and now it's almost $4 in some places. They do this for a reason, because they're pushing everybody that alternative energy, and they're taxing or forcing people to go away from their choice to what they approve of. Well, and that's the problem with this whole gun bracelet idea.
I saw this story on the Washington Free Beacon, and they did an excellent job with it. But one of the things that the President Obama's budget proposal says, it calls for $1.1 billion, quote, to protect Americans from gun violence, including $182 million to support the president's Now is the Time gun safety initiative. Why are we protecting Americans from gun violence? Why are we not protecting Americans from violence
in general?
Why does it have to be gun violence? Are there no other weapons? You know why? Because there has never been a rapid mass murder attack or event in history that has not been committed with a firearm, except for China the same day as Newtown, where 22 students were slashed with an edged weapon,
mm-hmm.
Or where these type of events are more common elsewhere in the world, that they use edged weapons instead of firearms. Oh, or today, a school here in America, in Pennsylvania,
mm-hmm.
where I think the total is 22 children now,
mm-hmm.
were slashed with a knife. It was an edged weapon attack. It meets the definition for active killer or active shooter, also known as active killer, right? So it's one or more suspects engaged in random, I'm reading here, systematic violence demonstrated an intent to actively and immediately cause death or serious bodily injury. The activity is ongoing, not contained. Access to additional victims, I'm reading this right here. So that's the definition of active shooter. Nothing about a gun in there called active shooter here in the United States. Well, because a lot of them in the U.S. are committed with guns, but that's not a gun issue. That's a violence issue. And again, these events are not even, the United States does not lead the world in these types of attacks. And yet what happened today? This type of attack happened. Nobody died yet, thank God. But 4 in critical condition, 22 attacked. It was an edged weapon.
Yeah.
They could have very easily been killed. Somebody pulled the fire alarm, it seems.
And really that could have been the difference.
So what, does this not fall under the Justice Department's idea of gun violence? Oh, we can't do anything about that. It's not gun violence.
Well, violence is violence, and we've had this conversation how many times on
here? Look, yeah.
Also today,
that's what needs to be addressed
in an office
in
building
country.
in Canada, you know, the one we model ourselves after when it comes to healthcare and how awesome everything was and blah, 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 blah.
Where mayors smoke crack.
In Canada, there was an edged weapon attack in an office building and 4 people were stabbed by a coworker, same type of thing. Fortunately, and I give the people credit, is they were able to stop the guy and a bunch of people jumped on him before he could hurt somebody else, but that could have very easily gone wrong. Like you mentioned, the edged weapon attack in China on the day of Newtown. There's also another edged weapon attack by a Muslim terrorist group in China less than a month ago that I think killed like 17 or 18 people.
It killed
30.
Like 33.
33.
In the train station in Russia.
Right.
Correct? Yeah, 10 terrorists, edged weapon attack.
Right.
Again, rapid mass murder event.
A place where firearms are outlawed. Weird. So it goes down to the point of no matter what, bad people are going to find ways to do bad things, and by disarming or debilitating the good citizens' right to defend themselves, that is a complete disaster. And the more we go down that road, the more we go down that path, and this weird belief that gets pushed that it's making everything safer by outlawing guns. People are killed by cars.
It was in China. I'm sorry.
That's what I said, China.
It was in China, the terrorist mass killing, I believe, right?
Yeah. It doesn't matter how you polish the turd, so to speak. It's still a turd. People are going to die unless they have the right to defend themselves. And when you find a way to keep that right away from people, or eliminating that right, or making it harder for people to acquire the tools and ability to defend themselves, it will never ever come back. And that's the issue here. Never mind the fact that it's just outright unconstitutional. At the end of the day, we now have the Ninth Circuit Court decision on CCWs in California. You have the.
That's just because the legislature was absolutely they were stupid in how they
worded it, but still.
Well, you can't open carry, and you need a permit for concealed carry, and so this court said, you're
saying that you're completely against Second Amendment rights, essentially,
right.
Which is what they tried to do. That was essentially what they tried to do. Was make it impossible in California for the average person to be able to defend themselves. But you look at the rulings that federal courts have made recently that are pro-Second Amendment, and the proof is in the pudding. So that's why I think you're going to see, as this fight continues, they're going to step away from outlawing guns and banning guns and finding other cute ways to try to keep people from owning a weapon.
I want to bring up some statistics here, just generally, and talking about rampage killers or rapid mass murderers, and these numbers are I'm trying to think, they're current through I want to believe they're current through 2010. No, they're current through 2013, and so by in the region of the world that has most of these rampage killings is the Oceania, Maritime, Southeast Asia, with the 142 incidents that are included in this. Asia is next with 132. The Americas as a whole, not just the United States.
How does that happen?
But the Americas as a whole, so North America, South America, okay, has 119. North America and South America, where all of the cartels are and all that good stuff. Yeah, even with the cartels and all the violence that goes on in Mexico and Central America, they are listed third. Right behind them is Europe with 106. Not far behind The Americas is 119. Europe, great socialist, peaceful Europe.
Nothing ever happens bad there.
106.
What?
And then Africa and the Middle East is 88. So Southeast Asia and Asia lead with 142 and 132 respectively. How can that be? Guns are illegal.
Well, listen.
How can Europe be so close right behind us with 106? Guns are illegal.
Well, because people are going to do bad things no matter what.
Exactly.
That's the end of the day. That's the evidence. I know. It's frustrating. It's absolutely frustrating. And
so that's my rant.
That's your rant for the night? Well, you did a good job. We still have more to rant about here after the break. I think that the Justice Department has no business. Look, I understand them collecting crime statistics. They are the Department of Justice. I understand in them engaging in crime prevention programs. I can understand that. Reducing gun violence is not okay. I believe reducing violence, period, is a great idea.
And I'm on board with that. But requesting funding to give grants for safe weapon technology or for weapons technology and getting involved in that, I have issue with.
Now listen, on the same token, if a private industry company, if it was just by them, if some company came out and said, "Hey, we're doing this, and if you want to buy it, you can. We'll make it eligible." And it's not a requirement, but if you want to make sure that nobody else but you could ever use your gun and that's your option and you choose to do that,
right? That's
great.
your choice.
That's
fine.
Capitalism, baby.
Absolutely.
I'm all for it.
Of
and
course.
if you as a private citizen want that option, that's outstanding.
Yeah.
That's still your right to do so.
Right. You're an idiot and you're going to lose.
Right. I don't agree with you, but I'll high-five you right up until you get shot.
Right.
Because I won't be. So, these are the concerns when they talk about it. Never mind the $600 million. We are in the worst financial times in how long?
We're in a recovery. Do you not?
Get out of here with the recovery.
We're in a recovery, mister.
$600 million.
Oh, and by the way, it's just going to cost about.
No,
this is my
it's not
impression.
$600 million. It's $382.1 million.
Okay, $382.1 million that we want to spend, and we think that it would be a great idea there, buddy. If you could just turn around and give us that money, so we can go ahead and make these bracelets, so we pretty much eliminate people's rights,
and so we can track all gun owners because they're evil terrorists.
Yeah, only the conservative ones. All right, we're up against a break. 347-205-9399. If there's anything you want to comment about, you can call in and talk to Sacco. He needs to talk to somebody. He's just sitting over there all boo-boo faced and bored. We haven't harassed him tonight. But here's what we did. We did give Rooster a lot of credit and nothing to Sacco. And I can see that look on his face right now. So somebody call in, 347-205-9399, and tell Sacco that he's good enough, smart enough, and gosh darn it,
I just
people
made,
like him.
Do you know that I believe DC Comics made, and I just have to throw this out there real quick, DC Comics made the Green Lantern a homosexual superhero.
Really?
And we talked about Sackheads Radio being the gayest show, being the happiest. Sacco came in wearing a Green Lantern T-shirt tonight. So it's almost like every radio.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead and finish.
No, that's it. Everything tied together. We can outro that.
We'll be back in 3 on the second.
Everything
radio.
comes together. I'm not cannibal from
the Reactionary Speak radio program.
Introduce a little anarchy. Upset the established order, and everything becomes chaos. I'm an agent of chaos. Oh, and you know the thing about chaos? It's beer.
Friday night, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, here on BTR.
How you doing? John Grant here. When I'm not slaving over a hot microphone on the 405radio.com Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, I check out Sean and Clint here at Sackheads Radio. We all appreciate the best political bloggers, writers, and commentators. We either get them on our shows or we make fun of them, as it should be. So check us out live Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern or forever on the podcasts on the 405radio.com.
This is Tammy Jackson, inviting you to join me on the Tammy Jackson Show every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific on the 405radio.com. Put down that remote and tune into the show that covers politics, guns and the Second Amendment, religious liberties, sanctity of life, the military, and more. I host newsworthy guests and work hard to be a conservative radio show that's not like all the others. So save Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific for me, Tammy Jackson, on the 405media.com.
Hello, I'm Paul, a student at Hillsdale College. Here is my professor, Dr. Larry Arnn, on the separation of church and state.
America's founders believed in a separation of church and state, in that the country was not to have an official religion or an official sect. But that did not mean that government was to be hostile to religion, or even indifferent to religion, as many today argue. In fact, America's founding document, the Declaration of Independence, includes both a reference to God as the author of the laws of nature and a confident assertion that human beings are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. Far from being hostile or indifferent to religion, America's founders understood the theology of the Declaration to be an essential part of the education of citizens.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution, go to constitutionminute.org.
Hi, this is Rooster from Outcry Radio. Catch me here on Blog Talk Radio every Saturday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or follow my blog at conservativeoutcry.net. Now, back to the Sackheads.
So I just have to say this. Sean did not believe me when I said, he said, Green Lantern's not gay. Where do you come up with this stuff? And I said, oh, no. DC relaunched Green Lantern as a gay superhero. And so I pulled up I was able to Google and find the New York Post article from June 1st of 2012 by Dara Gregorian. I think I'm pronouncing that right. And here's the article. It says, one of DC's comics' oldest hero is super coming out. The original Green Lantern, DC Comics mainstay for the past 7 years, will be revealed to be a gay man in next week's issue of Earth 2. And Sacco, I love that shirt. Now, this article would have a completely different meaning if the homosexual crowd had not hijacked a word meaning happy. Right. I'm just pointing it out.
Right.
So, yes. So, Green Lantern is a happy man.
Sacco, stand up. I want to take a picture. And that's going on Twitter. Okay. I'm getting such a look from Sacco right now. It's not even funny. Oh, man. All right, so I was wrong. It happens. Every once in a while, I was wrong. What's our next topic, Captain Right? You tell me. You're so right all the time.
Meaning conservative. And I appreciate the fact that you've labeled me Captain Right.
Captain Right.
Because some people...
It's better than Major Asshole.
See, now you bring up... Never mind.
Still one of my favorite movies of all time.
We ain't found shit.
I want to get into a couple of things.
Okay.
And I don't know if you heard Pelosi she was on State of the Union with Candy Crowley this weekend. She was talking about the CIA under Dick Cheney. And I'm just going to play the clip, and we'll discuss afterwards.
In politics, moving to the CIA and a report that we're still awaiting but may get soon about the CIA's, what we are told is the CIA's misrepresentation of what was actually going on with these so-called enhanced interrogation techniques, the torture, depending on who's describing it. You have blamed that on the highest levels of the CIA, that misrepresentation.
About that.
Who is that?
I mean, I do believe that during the Bush-Cheney administration, that Vice President Cheney set a tone and an attitude for the CIA. Many people in the CIA are so patriotic. They they protect our country in a way to avoid conflict and violence, etc. But the attitude that was there was very, I think, came from Dick Cheney. That's what I believe.
And if that happening could be proven and is, in fact, it came from the vice president's office, is there a net result of that, or is that just, here's a report?
I think he's proud of it. I think he's proud of it. So it's been an interesting week. We had the $7 million. We had the McCutcheon decision, as you mentioned, the CIA report, but we also had the Republican budget, which came out, and I call it the ideological manifesto of the Republicans.
There's another hate word, that manifesto. You know how that gets thrown out a lot of times with serial killers and terrorists and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Manifesto. Because Paul Ryan released a budget, and it wasn't a bad budget. I didn't agree with everything in it, but I didn't go line to line. So she's going to throw that little word in manifesto. But here's the other thing she did. She's talking about how the CIA, who waterboarded, which they call torture, but it's waterboarding, 3 people, and we've said before we would have waterboarded a whole lot more if we didn't get the information we got. I'm all for it. I have no problem with it. First and foremost, it's not cruel and unusual, in my opinion.
It's not unusual if you do it to more than one person.
Right, but they're not.
And it's not cruel.
They're not American citizens subject to our Constitution. They're enemy combatants.
Right.
So, and it's also it hasn't killed anybody yet. And from everything that I've read is they had medical staff on standby because as much as those on the left can't believe it, you're not getting any information out of a dead person, and they don't want them dead. They want them alive to keep getting information. So they weren't shooting at them randomly as they're running through a field saying, tell me something, no, bang. Oh, I hit him. Let's move on to the next one. These were 3 very specific individuals that they needed specific information from. And they used a technique that has been proven to be safe and successful. And she's going to turn around and try to say that it's torture and it's because Dick Cheney wants to torture people, is essentially what she said. He likes torturing people, and he made the CIA do it, is the essence of her whole conversation. It goes back to blaming Bush and the administration, but it goes back to painting a picture of conservatives in general, especially hardliners, because they've all called Cheney a hardliner, as these unreasonable, sadistic, evil people that want to essentially kill everyone who's in their way.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad we agree on that.
I agree on that. We know Pelosi is a nut job.
Right.
I mean, she has her base. She's from the San Francisco Bay Area, which is a hard left, progressive location. That's who her constituency is. So I expect that type of rhetoric from her.
As do I.
This type of rhetoric I've seen before.
Oh, yeah. Do you remember when she laughed? I have audio of it. You want to hear it?
Yeah. You sure that wasn't McCain?
No, I have audio of McCain talking, too, if you want to hear that.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. That was McCain. Sometimes those can entertain.
You can get those back and forth. So, but no, Pelosi, and listen, honestly, if Pelosi never would have made federal office if she wasn't in the San Francisco mayor's office the day Harvey Milk was shot.
No, not at all.
And I've said time and again, and I know gay people who agree that she ran on his grave for personal success. I've heard people say that.
Like happy people?
No, like homosexual people.
Okay.
And you know, not the vast majority of Democrats in San Francisco don't think so, but there are those people out there who said, wait a minute, she used that situation of a civil rights leader in that community being killed to be elected, and to this day, she still keeps getting reelected, and she will be reelected as long as she wants and or is alive. And if that means that she's going to freeze her head like Ted Williams did and be brought brought back to life when they figure out what killed her, she'd do that too. And she's a complete lunatic. A pistol grip is out of her mind. But I think she has her marching
Okay, hang on a second. Do you believe in reincarnation?
Do I believe in reincarnation? Yeah.
If you did believe in reincarnation, but you say you do, have you ever seen Medusa and Pelosi
in the same place? No, I haven't.
Is it possible, if you believe in reincarnation, that Medusa came back as Nancy Pelosi?
That's very possible. That's a scary thought, but absolutely.
And if she sat on a plane, is that where the movie title Snakes on a Plane came from?
That one I have a hard time with. I'll give you the Medusa one. You were onto something there. The Snakes on a Plane, that was a little bit of a stretch.
Look, you don't remember the controversy? She spent all that money flying place to place.
No, I do remember that controversy.
And what's Medusa have for hair?
Snakes.
There you go.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate
I add things to the conversation.
Speaking of crazy people.
Why are you looking at me?
I wasn't. I was actually looking at the board.
You were looking at me.
You know our good friend, the Carney?
He's not our good friend.
The one that we've invited several times to come on the show and debate us on certain things, and so far he hasn't done it yet.
Supposedly he's some master debater.
Right. I heard that he is, when it comes to debates, he is the master.
Right.
And does it all the time.
Right.
All the time, nonstop.
No, and he wears glasses, so that makes sense.
Right.
And you have to look intelligent.
I am pretty sure he shaves his hand. Either way.
Right, and put lipstick on it. But it's...
So, over the last year and a half, he's really become more and more of a D-bag when dealing with the press, asking him questions on sensitive subjects, that's in the i.e. sensitive, like it's going to make the White House look bad.
Right.
So, I believe it was yesterday or today, he was having a conversation with the Reuters reporter over equal pay in the White House.
Mm-hmm.
The president's been on this whole big equal pay, minimum wage lift, and women should be making as much as men. And here's the back and forth.
Yeah.
Jay, outside economists say that the data that the president is citing, 77-cent phrase, is wrong. Regardless of the merits of this push,
that's
you have
absolutely
data?
Not the case. There are some economists who have different views on what it means, but to say economists, from Reuters, I would expect something a little more precise. That's just not true. The facts are that women make 70 cents for every dollar that men make. There are a variety of reasons for that.
No, seriously, are those facts? Because
that's based on census data.
Over the last couple of days, as this story has gotten a lot of play.
That's based on census data. Now, there has been an important discussion in the last several days, and even prior to that, about what those data represent and how much of that is due to a lack of transparency in the pay that women receive versus men, the lack of the kinds of things that ensure that women who do the same work get the same pay that men get, and also things that have to do with the fact that women tend to fill lower wage jobs.
Okay. So, first of all, what a D-bag response. I'd expect something a little bit better out of it.
First of all, he interrupts him and doesn't let him finish.
No, he does that all the time. He answers the question he wants, not the entire question.
Right.
Which is something that I wish one of these reporters would call him out on and say, hey, you know what? Keep your mouth quiet. I'm not done.
Yeah.
You answer to me. I'm not done yet.
Right.
And then you'll answer the question I ask or refuse to answer it. That's fine. I'll get you on record that you refuse to answer it. But he does that a lot.
But you're going to let me finish this question.
Yeah, because
buddy.
When I interrupt you, pal,
right,
you shoot out at me.
Yeah, listen here, friend. I don't...
Chum, comrade.
Yeah. Hey, Skippy.
Hey, Captain Douche Nozzle.
hey, sport, listen. That's how we do it.
So I can't believe, or I can believe, and it drives me nuts that I can believe it at this point. I used to not be able to believe that he doesn't get held responsible for his actions when he's like this. He's a jerk. to a lot of reporters. And it used to just be the conservative reporters.
Fox News.
But now, the last year or so, it's really expanded to everybody. Anyone who asks a question that does not fit the ideology or questions the ideology or the actions of this administration, he goes on an attack much like a school child being told he can't go to recess.
A school child. How awesome would it be to have some reporter say, hey, Squirt, listen.
Hey, little buddy, you want to answer a question for me?
Well, I like Squirt because if you think about where Squirt came from.
Squirt soda. Sorry.
Well, Squirt, that's how you got the little guy in the first place.
Right, exactly. And it really brings him down to what he is.
Right. Hey, Mattress Stain, how about you just answer the question there?
Mattress Stain. So my other issue is with the topic itself, the 77 cents, the equal pay. I don't think there's anyone in this country that can question if two people are equally qualified, man, woman. I don't care what race. I don't care what nationality. As long as they're citizens, if you're working and you're doing the same job, you should get paid, as far as I'm concerned, the same. However, it does fall on each individual when they're negotiating their salary. Well, in most public sector, private sector places,
and seniority comes into play.
Right.
If you have two people
base
doing
pay.
Right. So if you have two people doing the same job, one person's been doing it for 7 years, and one person's been doing it for 3 years, even though they're doing the same job, that seniority should have something to do with it, correct?
Yes. And I know, and here's the funny part is the rest of public sector, and I worked in public sector years ago. I have an idea how it goes on. Everyone comes in at the same job most of the time in public sector. The salary rates are already set up previously. You have this amount to this amount. You have steps usually, or education inheritance, or enhancements, or whatever. And most federal, local, and state county governments are like that. There are some exceptions to those rules, as there are with anything. If you hire a specific economist, whatever, X, Y, and Z. But I think it's funny that the head of the public sector, if you will, the executive office of the United States of America, will pay a male and a female differently for the same job, and that it's not a paid base structure because they all started the job together if they've been there.
But are they the
elected.
same job, or is it that men hold higher power positions?
Well, that's one argument, is that some of them are higher power, but some of the same jobs, the aides, the secretaries, the maids, the what have you, administrative assistants, but I also say stewardesses. So, are getting paid. The females are apparently getting paid less, up somewhere around 70 cents on the dollar, or 77 cents on the dollar. Now, is that everybody? Is it a perfect system? No. Do I applaud, even though I think it's political, do I applaud the fact that this president says, hey, everyone should get paid equally? Yeah, because I agree that everybody should get paid equally.
For equal work, equal seniority, all things being equal.
Exactly. That's the biggest difference, is you can't turn around and say, hey, this guy's been here 5 years, this person just walked through the door, they're going to make equal pay. It doesn't work that way.
It shouldn't work that way.
It should not work that way. And I know, I've hired, I was in private sector, I was a hiring manager for a long time. I've hired females and males at the same rate for the same job. I've hired females for supervisors over males without any question whatsoever because they were more qualified or able. You know, it went to the person, the individual. And I don't have a lot of wiggle room because I didn't set the hiring parameters. Right. But I did it based on the
needs of your organization.
The needs of my organization and the ability of the person I was hiring. So private sector has a little more leeway than public sector does, but the reality is that if you're doing the same job, you should get paid for the same money, but not everybody's doing the same job and or the same tenure or seniority or however you want to look at it. And that's something that gets overlooked greatly. Unfortunately, like I said, this is all a political play. Because there's really midterms coming up. Older people have a tendency to be the high voters, but the Democrats are losing so much with Obamacare right now that they're trying to rally whatever base they can. They traditionally have a majority of the female vote the last 2 or 3 elections, and they're trying to rally them up. Hey, look what I'm doing for you. You know all those other places in the past, how they paid men more for the same job. I don't believe in that. I think you're just as equal, blah, 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 and I'm going to try to push it forward. And that's exactly what it's a political ploy. It has nothing to do with him caring about who's making what.
Of course it is. And I want to get to one other thing real quick before we wrap up the show. So we've talked before about constitutional convention.
Yes.
And this year Michigan may have become the 34th state to request a constitutional convention. And here's where the debate is. If Michigan is in fact the 34th state to request a constitutional convention, then that would be the 2/3 mark that's needed for Congress, where Congress shall call a convention. But here's the rub. Some of the 34 states that are included in that, some have requested a convention back in 1980 whatever, 1988 for Alabama. Alabama had requested a constitutional convention before, but
the band?
No,
the state.
The state.
Okay, just making sure.
No, it was Alabama. Good band. They might have wanted one, but Alabama rescinded its request in 1988. But then they reenacted it again in 2011. There have been other states that have previously applied but have rescinded their request. So the great debate is, and if you take the states that have rescinded their request, we're not at 34. However, here's where the debate comes in. There are some people that are saying, whoa. Once you apply for a constitutional convention, you've already applied for it.
Right.
And it says that 2/3 of the states have to apply for it. It doesn't say they have to apply and then they may rescind, or it doesn't say that once states apply and then rescind, that number doesn't count. It just says 2/3 of states apply for, Congress shall call. Well, if that's the case, then we're at that 2/3 threshold. But now it's this whole debate of, well, yes, 2/3 put in, but some of them withdrew, so we don't count those. So really there's only this many that have applications in for a convention. So it'll be interesting to see how Congress handles that, or if they will handle this. Is this something that is going to go to the courts, and that now the courts are going to have to decide?
I would recommend you call your congressman and demand some answers. That's my suggestion.
Or ask. I mean, just because I don't think people know. The process is it's vague. It really is.
Very vague.
It doesn't say, all it says is, hey, upon application of 2/3 of the states for a convention, Congress shall call a convention. And
that's actually not vague.
I'm paraphrasing.
It's actually...
But what is vague is, can a state rescind an application?
I don't think so.
Why not? So now we bring the 10th Amendment in and we have a states' rights argument. The Constitution doesn't say that a state can't do it. So if the Constitution...
Well, let's look at how
if it says
the state can apply,
right,
or petition, then I believe the way the founders wrote it, because they did not put in a clause to rescind it, pretty much says, in my opinion, once it's applied for, it stands.
Well, but again, right, the 10th Amendment, any powers, the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it, by the Constitution to the states, are reserved to the states. So the Constitution does not prohibit the states from rescinding an application. Therefore, according to the 10th Amendment, states may in fact rescind, is one way to look at it. And that's actually a sound constitutional argument. But the other side of that is also a sound constitutional argument, in that once 2/3 of the states have applied for a constitutional convention, well, they have, whether they rescind it or not, they at one point have applied for that convention. They therefore meet the technical definition or meet the minimum requirements under Article 5. So it's going to be, it has the potential to be an interesting debate. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen with this
and how it's going to play out.
But I think that I think there's an argument for either way.
Hey, real quick, Iggy in the chat room threw up that the numbers that are currently being used for the inequality argument that's going on right now?
By the way, 3/4 of the states, not 2/3. I'm sorry.
3/4.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 3/4 of the states, 2/3 of Congress.
Okay.
Go ahead.
But you said those numbers are wrong. It's more like 91% today versus the 77%. So 91 cents of every for every dollar women get paid that male makes, a woman gets paid 91 cents is the numbers that she's seen recently and she believes to be true. Still, though, it's there. And I know there's other things that go along with that women don't necessarily work less 40-hour-a-week jobs than males, etc. But I appreciate the feedback from the chat room.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my friend.
Yes.
This has been a lot of fun. It's been a good show. I'm really excited. Thank you so much again to Rooster and Sacco for putting the website together, Rooster for doing all the legwork, and Sacco for really helping out with the design. And, you know, the two of them, honestly, folks, we say this all the time, but Sacco makes us look good every single week. And now, you know,
that's because he doesn't make us wear Green Lantern shirts. If he made us wear Green Lantern shirts, he couldn't make us look good.
You know he's never going to wear that shirt again. That shirt's going to end up getting thrown away. He's taking it off. Oh, he's wearing a sweater under his shirt.
Is that a sweater underneath? That's nice.
Awesome. And remember, everyone, check out shrmedia.com. That's the new home, the Sackheads Radio, the Exceptional Conservative Show, as well as Outcry Radio and Conservative Outcry, and you can follow them on SHR Media.
I have another correction.
Yes.
It is 2/3 of the states. I questioned myself.
So you're going to uncorrect your correction?
I'm going to uncorrect my correction. I should know better than to question myself. I remember saying something about 3/4 of the states, but that's different.
Well, I'm glad we straightened all that out.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for the chat room and trying out the new chat room with us. That was a lot of fun tonight.
Was actually for putting an amendment in or ratifying an amendment, not calling a convention.
Rooster said in the chat room, we will have our SHR Media Facebook up soon, and if we get 1,000 likes, apparently I'm going to bare my breast for all to see, so that'll be exciting for everybody to join us there. We will see you next Wednesday night here on the Sackheads Radio Show. Don't forget to check out our affiliates, the Conservative Outcry Radio, who's going to be off until May, and his blog being on our website, and the Exceptional Conservative Show, Monday through Thursday and Friday mornings. Make sure you check Ken out.
Don't forget to dare Joe Biden.
Yeah, we have. Well, now we have to bring that over.
We do have to bring that over, but it's still on our page, right?
It's still on the Sackheads Radio.
Go to the Sackheads page and dare Joe Biden. We haven't had a good dare Joe Biden in a while. He may not be around for much longer in office,
so we need to get that out of the way.
We need to keep that up for as long as we can.
For Sackhead Clint, this is Sackhead Sean, and for Sackhead Sacco, say good night. We'll see you next week.
God bless America, and if you're outside of America, and I can say God's my freaking show. I can say whatever the hell I want.
Say whatever.